In the 17th century, the Paston family of Norfolk were the richest gentry in the county. They had built their fortune through careful marriages, generations of hard work, and the acquisition of vast estates. They owned magnificent houses, collected priceless treasures, and entertained kings. They were the envy of all who knew them. But then, they made a fatal mistake. They couldn't stop spending. Their lifestyle became out of all proportion with their income. Within just 50 years of their greatest triumph, the visit of King Charles II, the family had completely disappeared. Their magnificent house at Oxnead was demolished, everything was sold to pay their debts, and the Paston name was gone forever. This is the story of the Paston family's whirlpool of misadventures, a cautionary tale of wealth, power, and the price of extravagance. The Pastons rose from modest beginnings to become the richest gentry family in Norfolk. Their 15th century correspondence, known simply as the Paston letters, documents their remarkable rise. Through careful marriages, service to the crown, and relentless acquisition of land, they built a fortune that would last for generations. But the seeds of their destruction were also planted during this time. By the 1660s, the Paston fortune was already under strain. Sir William Paston, the family patriarch, had been forced to pay heavy fines during the Commonwealth period. His estate was valued at over £5,500, and he was forced to pay more than £1,300 in fines, 3 times as much as any other family in Norfolk. In addition, plate worth £1,100 was seized for the support of the army. The family was bleeding money. Sir Robert Paston inherited the family's debts when his father died in 1663. He was a man of wide learning and interests, devoted to his wife and to Oxnead, which he described as the sweetest place in the world. But he was already deeply in debt. By 1657, he owed the staggering sum of £10,000. He had sent money to Charles II during the king's exile, borrowing fearing his sovereign might want. In 1671, the king and queen visited Oxnead Hall. No expense was spared. Robert declared that he had spent 3 times the dowry of an earl's daughter on the visit. The accounts show payments to jewelers, watchmakers, cooks, pewterists, hat makers, confectioners, brewers, vintners, linen drapers, and shoemakers. The king commented that he was safe in the house of his friend, but the cost was staggering. Robert's letters to his wife Rebecca reveal a family in financial freefall. They were always going on about getting some money from somewhere or another, but they were pursuing crock of gold at the end of the rainbow projects. In 1679, Robert wrote that he was falling into a whirlpool of misadventure. He could see he was going down the tube. But he could not stop spending. Robert devoted years to the search for the Philosopher's Stone, which he saw as the solution to his mounting financial problems. He employed an alchemist and conducted experiments in his laboratory. But the gold never materialized. The alchemy was a fantasy, a desperate hope that could not save the family's fortune. Robert was appointed Lord Lieutenant of Norfolk in 1676. The position was an honor, but it also required lavish expenditure that the family could not afford. Robert suffered from obesity, gout, scurvy, and depression. His final years were made miserable by disputed elections, political change, lawsuits, and his increasing ill health. He died in 1683, leaving his wife and eldest son with a mountain of debt. Robert's son William inherited the debts and began disposing of the family treasures as early as 1709. By 1708, he was described as being as low as you can imagine. He hath vast debts. He had scarce a servant to attend him, or an horse to ride abroad upon. But he refused to take any method of putting his affairs into a better posture. He died in 1732, without a male heir. The Paston family was extinct. The magnificent house at Oxnead was demolished in 1732. Everything on the estate was sold to pay the family's extensive debts. The Paston's story ended in sadness and financial ruin. Their whirlpool of misadventures had consumed them entirely. The Pastons had built a fortune over centuries. But in just 50 years, they had lost it all. The Paston family is a reminder of the dangers of wealth, the cost of power, and the price of extravagance. They were the richest gentry in Norfolk, and they couldn't stop spending,